Hey, what's going on in this video? I'm going to talk about who or what I believe God is after all of my experiences. I actually drove to Third Beach today to film this video with the ocean in the background. And after taking pictures and pictures of my art, I started talking to some people, and the next thing you know, I completely forgot to film the video, the reason why I went there in the first place. But here we are, and in this video, I'm just going to share with you where I've got to in my quest to find out who or what God really is. Now, if you're new to my channel, in 2014, I attempted to take my life, and Archangel Michael appeared. And ever since then, I've had all kinds of visitations, from Jesus to Lucifer to Archangel Michael to ET beings. I've had out-of-body experiences, started having memories of us being a soul before I incarnated here coming back to me. I've astral projected, I've gone to other dimensions, and I'm just going to share with you where I'm at in this quest for knowledge of who or what God is. Now, I realize the most people out there have already come up to a conclusion about, what they believe in regards to God. And I respect all opinions and belief systems. I'm probably going to say something that you don't necessarily resonate with, and hopefully we can just agree to disagree. But, before 2014, my understanding of this reality was like, okay, Jesus is either God or, very close to it. And after multiple visitations from archangels and all the out-of-body experiences and things I talked about, my view on this reality has greatly changed. Jesus on the other side walks around about 30 feet tall. And this one time, after my divorce, you could say I was a little ticked off with this reality. And I was often questioning Jesus and Archangel Michael, why they didn't just, let me take my life that day in the garage. And I got to a point where, I just had enough. And so I went into this meditation. I started projecting my consciousness into areas of the galaxy and universe that were extremely far away. And I planted these white flashing orbs that had a message, and for a half an hour, I basically repeated the same line. It was basically something like, many souls on planet Earth are suffering, needs to be shut down, management is a joke, something along those lines, right? But I was in a ticked off mood and with a lot of energy and emotion behind these words. I repeated that for 30 minutes, and then I got a surprise that I wasn't really expecting. It was like a movie started playing in my third eye, and I was shown an image of our Earth. It was like this big. Now, I had this being that was 5 times the size of the planet. He was massive. This presence that was just, even though, he came to me as a clear being, wavy defense mechanism, because when you know the true form of a being, your energy can affect them. And since I was in a little bit of a stinker mood, he came to me as a clear being, so my vibration couldn't affect his energy as much. But I sat there and I watched this being 5 times the size of the planet look into planet Earth, look at me, and say, no, everything's good here. And then he went off on his way. Now, after firing my highest guide, I had a visitation from Lord Shiva. Now, I knew very, very little about this being, never heard about him in church or whatever. But after I fired my highest guide, I was shown Lord Shiva had come in and became one of my guides. Now, I had to do some research on this being. Actually, I didn't even know who it was at first. I just had this blue being with 4 arms come to me and start waving all these hands while he was floating with his legs crossed, and he had these cobras, and I had to look up like blue being, 4 arms, cobras, and Lord Shiva comes up, right? And so I start reading into the Hindu texts about Lord Shiva and Brahma, and I'm under the impression, that this being was most likely the creator of our reality. Now, in your quest for who or what is God, you have to define what your definition of God is. Is God the creator of our reality, or is God the creator of all realities? There's a big difference, in my opinion. I got the feeling that this being came from a very far place. However, he wasn't the only being, and from memories I have of crawling on honeycombs and sticking my head into other dimensions and seeing all these different realities, I've come to understand that our entire reality is kind of like a marble in a bag full of marbles, or a speck of sand on the beach. Before I incarnated here, I remember floating through the cosmos as a soul. When you come up to one of these dimensions or realities, salesmen there, and whenever you come to a new reality, there's beings that are supposed to fill you in and tell you all about it. These two beings were very deceiving and lied to me, so I'm not sure if they're around anymore after what I've done in the astral realm, but my understanding of reality is that it's just so much bigger than we could ever imagine. In the spiritual community, they'll have you believe that everything in existence is God. I'm not necessarily arguing that. I do believe everything in reality is energy, but whose energy is it? Did it come from the being that created our reality, or did it come from the being that creates all realities? I think there's a big difference, but that's where I'm at. Decided to make this video in case someone out there who's like me in 2014, 15, flipping through social media looking for answers about this reality. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.